Hey YouTube, Casey here, and today we're going to be taking a look at Grandpa Clone Customs' April wave release. Now, while I did a review a couple months ago on their January and February wave, I actually skipped out on all the figures from their March wave, since the only things I really felt were worth picking up were two of the named character replica helmets. But with this year's third wave, I had to drop some money on some of these amazing figures. Now, one of the most innovative ones that came out with this wave is the Senate Guard from Revenge of the Sith. This is basically a perfect custom with an ABS replica helmet that perfectly matches the official style of LEGO. This genuinely feels like a real LEGO piece, and the clutch power when taking it on and off just is perfectly fit. Next to the Royal Guard here, it just looks like something LEGO would officially put out. I love how they made the plumes on the back of the helmet, and how they even use this newer dress piece in dark blue. You can easily make the Phantom Menace version of this guy by swapping out the black head underneath with a head from your own collection. And now you have a cool variant that you can display alongside your other Episode 1 figures for the movie's 25th anniversary. One thing that was done for the shipping of this figure was bubble wrapping it so that the helmet wouldn't break since it's pretty fragile. There had been an issue with the helmet breaking on last month's figure that used this helmet, so it's pretty awesome to see some of the precautions taken here to try to fix that issue. And I almost forgot to mention, but this figure retails for 20 bucks, which is a great value in my opinion, considering that this is an all-new helmet piece made by GCC. Now, for the most hyped up, and for good reason for sure, figure of this wave is definitely the ARC Trooper Jesse figure from Clone Wars Season 7. We see him in this armor during the Bad Batch arc, but of course he's most iconic in the Venator scene from the finale. This figure uses an all-blue official LEGO helmet with the most insane printing on it. Normally when LEGO prints white on a color like this, the white is pretty faded and comes out really dull, like when the white came out as pink on the Commander Fox torso from last year's gunship and that was a whole big thing. Unlike that, GCC has perfected the printing problem that LEGO hasn't for so many years, and it's honestly really amazing. Now when talking about the price here, which I'll do more at the end of this video, paying 34 bucks for him with no face print underneath feels pretty bad. We've been getting clone heads on a couple figures recently, so seeing one here would have really made the value feel a lot better. Throwing on a pauldron from the Cape Cantina, though, makes this figure top tier otherwise. LEGO really wishes that they could make a figure this good. Next up here is the second version of Commander Doom, who keeps the sprayed visor and official helmet that the first version had. I saw a couple people complaining about how the sprayed visor is more prone to chipping, but mine honestly doesn't seem to have any weathering on it. And this is a great compromise to give us a piece in a color that we normally wouldn't have. What is different here though from the first version is the size of the ranking badge and I believe the triangle detail on his chest too. He also has a belt updated to the reddish brown color, which is nice since it matches the belt color of his unit's troopers now. And really quickly, just for another figure here that came out in the wave, I wanted to throw in the release of Wolf V3, even though I didn't end up picking it up, just since I already have the V1 and the V2 upgrade helmet. This is really dumb to me how they have to keep on releasing so many versions of the characters. Like, why can't you just get it right the first time and just keep it like that and continue to restock them? I also don't understand why they threw helmet holes on this figure, since one of the main draws of GCC is to fix the problems of LEGO, and helmet holes seems to be one of the biggest issues that people have, including me. It was nice though to have a face print on him, unlike with Jesse like I mentioned, and it was sold separately as well for 5 bucks, so if you wanted that. Here's the next figure, the Cobalt Hero ARC Trooper from Battlefront 2. This is actually the third of 4 ARC Troopers from that game that we've gotten so far, and this is my first time getting one of them. The printing on this helmet looks really good, and if you didn't notice, this helmet is actually a custom in-house mold. While I really like the look and feel of it, the clutch power on the helmet is way too strong, unlike the Senate Guard, which felt like a real LEGO piece when you're taking it on and off the helmet. As you can see here, the head normally gets pulled away when you're trying to take it off the torso, which, you know, it's way stronger than it really should be. Now, I'd like to take the time here to explain something that I've mentioned in one of my past videos, since a lot of people have been asking me questions about it, and it's why I don't like printed arms on clone troopers. So it's not really the fact that they are printed arms, it's just that you can see how the style is here with the shoulder pads, that they're printed way too low, and they're not actually on the shoulder. They just sit so low on the figure. It'd be a lot better in my opinion if the shoulder pads were printed kind of like this Anakin figure, instead of leaving the white gap that's present kind of near the torso. But this is really just a personal preference. I thought I'd just explain that, as most people seem to be fine with how the printed arms are. But anyways, putting some upgrades on this guy looks great, and the official rangefinder piece actually sits pretty well inside the helmet, unlike how it was with the helmet connection to the head. And now onto the last figure of the wave, we've got Dr. Emery Carr from the Bad Batch Season 3. So this figure just isn't really as exciting to me in my opinion, just because she's kind of a boring character in the show and doesn't have that crazy of a design. She's not obviously a cool armored clone trooper, she's just kind of some lady. Now, I'm using pictures here from a friend since I didn't want to pick up this figure for 26 bucks myself, but make sure y'all check his Insta down below just since he was nice enough to send these pictures over. But looking at the face print here, it looks alright to me. I think it's a little weird just because of how the glasses are printed, but to be fair, I think this is the best job that GCC could do when printing on a minifigure face. For the hairpiece, the part choice is pretty bad in my opinion, considering that she has a ponytail and that it swoops the other way. So I just would have changed it out for this hairpiece that you can see on screen, but just imagine that it's reddish brown. And I really like the design of the torso and legs here, especially the addition of the arm printing being a real highlight. Although I think that dual molded arms having that dark gray completely filled in on the lower part would have made it way better. Sadly, it does seem though that the printing on this figure isn't that great, with the torso and legs having a bit of damage around the middle area of the figure. Even if this only happened to this guy's copy though, this shouldn't have been something that slipped up considering you're paying 26 bucks just for this figure. And even my Senate Guard figure that you saw earlier had a little bit of a scratch on her torso. And I'm really disappointed seeing this, and it might seem a little nitpicky, but like I said, you're paying a high price here, and I don't know. I just feel like this shouldn't be something that's happening. Oh, and I'm also going to throw up on screen the 3 figures that restocked this wave. I don't really have much to say since they've been out before, but just so y'all have the knowledge of the figures that did come out. Now, there is one final topic that I wanted to talk about here, and it was brought to my attention by ALC Studios. Recently, it seems like a lot of the black hands that are used on these figures have actually been sourced from knockoff parts. And while this hasn't exactly been confirmed yet, and it could just be an older mold for Lego that they used for the hands, it does seem likely to be knockoff parts, and people have been having issues with this certain piece damaging the arms of the figures. And this seems really bad on GCC, obviously, since they claim that they use official parts for the hands. But they have come out and stated that they bought these parts with the belief that they were official, so they're not trying to, like, intentionally scam us or anything like that here. This definitely isn't something that should slip by, though, especially if they are revealed to be sourced from knockoffs. And I know that GCC doesn't really have actual quality control, but with these issues slipping up for the high prices that you're paying for the figures, they really need to change something and really get themselves back in shape. While I don't really have much knowledge on how they can fix the quality issues, I think that switching over to fully in-house replica helmets instead of using the official ones would be an amazing compromise to help significantly lower the prices. I personally don't care whether or not a figure uses a replica helmet or an official just because their in-house helmets are such high quality. So like I said, I would just fully switch over to the replica helmets if they're going to make the figures like $10 cheaper, because their army builders are $18 and then the named characters end up being at least 30 bucks. And the only other addition that they have are arm printing as well as the official helmets. So if it's going to be that much cheaper, I would just go ahead and switch it over. It makes it so much easier for everyone. People are able to afford more things. There's been some teases for next month's wave, and it seems to be alright so far. Maybe not as good as this wave, but the only figures I'll probably be picking up are the new ARC Troopers from Rancor Battalion. I actually already picked up cloths from the Cape Cantina earlier this month, so I'll be ready when I get them. But I think I got just about all that I wanted to say out here. GCC printed Mayday Fig's Zam figure last month too, so make sure you check out my review on her if you're interested in seeing some more of GCC's work. And also, my Light Customs third wave review will be dropping next Friday, so make sure y'all subscribe so you don't miss out on that. But with that all said, remember that Christ is King, and may the Force be with you.